Well, they waved them off this morning. High clouds and high hopes as well that this might just be a breakaway day. Oh, we had one with Michael Storer, who finished on his own on stage 2, and in fact went into the green jersey, just hidden by indeed a gilet against the cold, I think you might say. Well, the Australian shrouded, of course, in glory yesterday, and one man decided that this would possibly be something he could repeat. We got to the big climb of the day, dead centre of stage 3. We had an enormous breakaway at the top of the day of 21 riders. In fact, they were joined by Hugh Carthy as well, as some started to fade. It was a breakdown in that breakaway, but one man believed he could possibly make it all the way and basically do a Storer. Could that be the story of stage 3? Big question. Well, we had some real talent chasing him down, and in fact a breakaway, well, yeah, that had a lot of hope that it could wrestle the green jersey today, potentially. In fact, some up front were very well placed, but with a 41-second margin, what was a concern for Storer, amongst all of those who were close to him in the overall classification, was not to let any bonus seconds go off up the road. So this suited our race leader perfectly, and it suited Marco Frigo absolutely impeccably. 3 others were very close in the chase. Pickering, of course, gunning to extend his lead in the mountains competition. Van Daal as well from Red Bull, and August from Ineos Grenadiers. Well, they were having a decent run of things, to say the very least, just making sure that they stayed and kept their man honest up front. But not only about climbing, it was about descending on this day as well. And as the rain started to suggest itself, maybe just a few nerves out there. Well, our race leader was keeping it sensible, just marking those around him, billowing cordons at the side of the road for the final climb. A double phaser that you had to take on in order to indeed experience the descent gradients of 16% to bring you home at the end of the day. Not a pleasant thing at all. Our trio were there, they were hanging out, and it opened up the opportunity for a bit of ambition back here. Big Anzoli is very well placed, the 22-year-old, for Polti Visma Malta, and he decided, you know what, I'm going to try and bridge over. It's not that far to that chase group. Maybe I can get something out of today. Straight on his back wheel went Matteo Riccitello, and then Riccitello said, see ya. His teammate may well have been off up the road, but there was 3 riders to bridge to. Maybe disrupt them, maybe form a fighting quartet, and maybe make it a 1-2. You just never know for teams like Israel Premier Tech, who are doing a phenomenal job within this race. And Frigo was doing precisely that as well. He was already starting to think about the descent, even 2 kilometers away from the top, but he was just pounding away and indeed holding his margin, extending it in fact. Started the climb with 1 minute and 20, ended it with nearly 2 minutes, as you can see. This, however, was his teammate, possibly a fireman, getting over to help him out a little bit later on. Riccitello showing great form, and in fact very well placed overall going into the high ground tomorrow. There's the King of the Mountains points that was taken by Frigo. He got over the top, changed his gear, and indeed didn't change his mindset. He just had to keep gunning for that line. The question is, other lines were being ridden, and look at this, the peloton itself reforming from disparate groups, but all of the jerseys were right here. So it was Chris Hamilton for Team Picnic Post NL, with Roman Bardet also within that vanguard, off the testy technical descent and onto the flat with 2.2 kilometers and a 41-second margin, so his 2-minute gap had been closed on the descent. But would it be enough to carry him home? The answer was yes. Marco Frigo for Israel Premier Tech, absolutely fabulous, getting on for 4 hours of racing, and he made the day his own. Not going to interfere with the overall classification, but a stage win here, well won. Super job. So then it came to potential for bonus seconds at the line. There was a skirmish. Watch the red jersey. Ciccone desperate to get something out of this, but it was Jai Hindley at the line. Derek G already celebrating his teammate Marco Frigo, cruising over for 3rd place, with Ciccone missing out on bonus seconds. So it means that overall it stays exactly as you were. Yes, indeed. Storer is our leader. Congratulations to Frigo and indeed to Ciccone for making a good fist of it. But overall, Storer is in charge. And just look at this. 41 seconds held over Ciccone and Seixas with Hindley, Gaul, Bardet, Poole, Cepeda, Piganzoni, Caruso. They'll all be battling on Thursday for the Queen Stage.